For months, this TikTok couple looked like they had life completely figured out. While most young parents talked about sleepless nights, financial stress, and struggling to balance work and family life, Sabina's videos painted a very different picture. She was a young mother. Her partner was already retired. He helped with the baby. They appeared financially comfortable, and together they seemed to be living the dream. Millions of people couldn't stop watching. Their relationship quickly became one of the most talked about age gap relationships on TikTok, with viewers fascinated by their 25-year age difference and the lifestyle they appeared to have built together. But here's what makes this story so interesting. This same woman who spent months telling people how happy she was would later claim that much of what viewers believed about her life wasn't the full story. This same relationship that helped make her account go viral would eventually become the reason everything fell apart. And today both sides are telling very different versions of what really happened. Today we're looking at the rise and collapse of one of TikTok's most talked about age gap relationships. What started as wholesome family content eventually turned into public accusations, deleted videos, and a messy breakup that left followers wondering what was real and what was carefully staged for views. We're talking about Sabina and Ryan. Sabina was born in 2000, making her 26 years old. Ryan was born in 1975, making him 50 years old. The couple got engaged on August 2nd, 2024. Before meeting Sabina, Ryan had never been married, although he had previously been in a long-term relationship. According to Sabina, that relationship had ended around 7 years before they met. Before her relationship content exploded in popularity, Sabina's account focused much more on her daily life and personal updates. But once viewers became interested in her age gap relationship, everything changed. Videos featuring Ryan consistently attracted more attention. People were curious about the age difference. They were curious about how the relationship worked, and they were especially curious about the lifestyle they appeared to have created together. And eventually videos showing what appeared to be the everyday reality of their life together. At the time, nobody could have predicted where the story was heading, because if you watched their content during this period, everything seemed perfect. Their content followed a simple formula. Sabina highlighted the benefits of being with an older partner, often presenting their life as stress-free, secure, and far less chaotic than what many young families experience. Content like this was all over their TikTok. Millions of viewers were fascinated. The account grew rapidly, and every viral video seemed to reinforce the same message. Being with an older, retired partner gave her a better quality of life. One of her most viral videos focused on what she considered one of the biggest advantages of having a baby with an older, retired partner. According to Sabina, Ryan would get up with their daughter early in the morning while she slept in. She told viewers that if she wanted to stay in bed until 10 a.m., spend an hour getting ready, go shopping, or simply leave the house for a while, she could do that because Ryan was always home.
So our daughter is super clingy. She's like a Velcro baby because she never has to be alone because she always has one of us attending to her at all times. Yes, but she likes being in the high chair.
According to Sabina, the arrangement worked perfectly. Ryan was retired at 50 years old. She was able to spend more time with her daughter, and neither of them had the stress that many working parents experience. At least that's what viewers believed. She also praised Ryan for being an active father, saying he handled half the diaper changes, half the bottle feedings, and helped put their daughter to sleep. Naturally, videos like these attracted a huge audience. The idea of a young mother living what appeared to be a stress-free lifestyle with a financially established older partner sparked plenty of curiosity online. But it wasn't just the lifestyle that got people talking. Sabina also openly discussed the downsides of being in an age gap relationship. She admitted that people often stared at them in public and sometimes assumed Ryan was her father rather than her partner. She joked about having to adjust to Ryan's early bedtime habits and explained that she struggled to make friends her own age because most people in their neighborhood were closer to Ryan's generation. Despite those challenges, her overall message remained consistent. She repeatedly told followers that she loved her life and couldn't ask for a better situation. Looking back, that statement would become one of the most surprising parts of the entire story, because only a short time later, everything changed. Almost overnight, the content started looking different. The happy couple videos began disappearing, the family content slowed down, and followers started noticing that Ryan Ryan was no longer appearing the way he once had. Then came the announcement nobody expected. Sabina had left Ryan. Not only that, she was now suggesting that the relationship followers had been watching for months wasn't nearly as perfect as it seemed. She has since deleted nearly all of the videos featuring Ryan, and now primarily posts about her personal life, healing journey, daily routines, and life as a single mother. The shift was dramatic. A creator whose content had largely revolved around the benefits of her age gap relationship was suddenly building content around life after that relationship. When she posted about breaking up with Ryan, it felt completely unexpected. Even now, there are comments from people who don't believe the breakup is real. Some viewers thought it might be a publicity stunt. Others believed there had to be more to the story. And as Sabina began sharing details, the situation quickly became much more complicated. Many followers rallied behind her. Some related her experience to their own relationship. Others praised her for leaving. "I hope you're feeling better. It seems like you've gone through it. Stop. Don't lose sight of how you were treated. You were a comfort, not a priority. Why did you delete all your videos? You sweetheart, ma'am. You're too beautiful to be sad. You got this. Stay together for the kids." And before long, Sabina had gained significant sympathy from a large portion of her audience. At this point, many viewers assumed Sabina had completely moved on. After all, she had publicly criticized the relationship, moved back in with her parents, and was sharing details about the challenges she faced during their life together. But then one small comment surprised a lot of people. Under one of her videos, a follower asked, "Do you still love him?" Instead of saying no, Sabina responded, "Yes, but trying to heal." That short reply caught many people off guard, because despite everything she was revealing, it suggested the emotional side of the breakup was far more complicated than followers initially assumed. It also supported something she had said previously, that she genuinely loved Ryan and had not entered the relationship for financial reasons. For some viewers, that made her story feel more believable. Others argued that it showed how difficult it can be to separate from someone you've built a life and family with. Whatever the case, one thing was becoming clear. The breakup wasn't as simple as people first thought. And then Sabina finally explained her side of the story. At first, many people assumed this was simply another influencer breakup. But according to Sabina, the problems went much deeper. One of the first revelations immediately surprised viewers. Sabina revealed that she and Ryan were never actually married. Although she regularly referred to him as her husband online, she explained that they were only engaged. She said calling him her husband was simply easier than constantly answering questions about why they weren't married yet.
I'm going to attempt to kind of film an explanation video for broke up and everything. I'm just going to first clarify that we actually weren't married. He made that up. Just didn't really want all the comments saying, "Oh, he didn't marry you," or whatever. Like, we were engaged, but I just felt like it was easier to say husband than fiance.
For many followers, that was the first sign that the image being presented online wasn't entirely accurate, but that was only the beginning. Sabina also addressed one of the biggest accusations she had received throughout the relationship, the idea that she was with Ryan for money. According to her, that couldn't have been further from the truth. She claimed Ryan expected her to pay for many of her own expenses, including personal items, food, school expenses, car payments, and other everyday costs. She also alleged that while she was working full-time, she paid rent to live in the house Ryan owned.
So a lot of people think that I was using him for money and stuff, and that is part of this, is that he didn't want to provide anything for me. He didn't want me to live in his house for free, basically. So he wanted me to pay rent, pay for my own groceries, for all my own personal items, for my own bills. I paid for the trash and everything. He wanted to go half on all the utilities, half on all the groceries, half on all the baby stuff. And he owned the house, so I would have to pay rent every month. And I did when I was working full time.
According to Sabina, things became even more complicated after their daughter was born. She said she stopped paying rent at that point, which allegedly became a major source of conflict between them. Sabina claimed Ryan viewed this as her taking advantage of him financially. Meanwhile, she felt she shouldn't be expected to continue paying rent as the mother of his child. She described money as one of the biggest recurring arguments in the relationship.
And then when I gave birth to my daughter, I stopped paying rent. He was not happy about that, obviously. Thought I was gold digging him because I was living with him without paying the bills or whatever. So that was a point of contention, and it was just a fight a lot of the times because he was just always upset that I wasn't.
But perhaps the most significant revelation involved the image they had built online. For months, followers watched what appeared to be a retired husband, a stay-at-home mom, and a stress-free family life. According to Sabina, that wasn't the full story. She explained that while she spent part of the week at home with her daughter, she was also working multiple jobs and attending school. She claimed she cleaned houses several days per week and also worked as a nanny while continuing her education.
I still work 3 days a week, so I would clean houses 2 days a week and then nanny 1 day a week, and then that money was going to pay my car payment is $800 a month. And he wasn't like willing to pay that, obviously, so I still had to somehow pay that. And then also I was in school, that would also be coming out of my pocket. And then also I had to pay for my own food, any personal items, I like shampoo, conditioner, like a shirt, anything I wanted, like makeup, anything like that, I had 100% by myself. And that is why I started posting on TikTok, because we were going viral. And I was like, oh my God, what if I can make money off of this? Because then I can stay home with my daughter. And we were. So I was actually making quite a bit of money on TikTok just for like the amount of time I was doing it and for like not having a ton of.
Suddenly, many followers started questioning the content they'd been watching all along. If she was working multiple jobs and attending school, why did the online version of her life appear so different? Sabina had an answer for that too. She admitted that the videos focused heavily on positive moments because those were the videos that performed best. She also said she became invested in content creation because she hoped it would eventually allow her to spend more time at home with her daughter. Looking back, she acknowledged that viewers were often seeing carefully selected highlights rather than the reality of her everyday life.
I kept like putting our life out there and making it seem like, oh, we have this great life. We're both stay-at-home parents. 4 days out of the week, I was a stay-at-home parent, and like that's what our life looked like. But I did work. That wasn't the full story, and I presented it to be like a lot better than it was because I knew that would go viral better than being like, oh, I'm with this guy twice my age who doesn't like help me out in any sort of. I do believe in paying for my own stuff, going to school, getting my degree, and having my own money separate too. It's just that it was really hard to deal with somebody that doesn't want to take care of you at all, help you out like when you are going through that development phase.
As her explanation continued, the conversation shifted beyond finances. Sabina claimed she often felt unsupported despite balancing motherhood, work, and school simultaneously. She argued that while Ryan was retired, she felt pressure to continue carrying multiple responsibilities, while also being criticized for not contributing enough financially. She also alleged frequent disagreements about food, household expenses, and money in general. According to Sabina, these issues slowly created resentment. She described feeling as though she was investing everything into the relationship while receiving very little support in return. Another topic she addressed was the age gap itself. Interestingly, she said the age difference wasn't initially a problem. In fact, she had spent months publicly defending age gap relationships. But according to Sabina, her perspective gradually changed as she got older and became a mother. She explained that she entered the relationship during a period when she struggled with self-confidence. She claimed she genuinely loved Ryan, but believes her low self-esteem played a role in why she tolerated certain behaviors for so long. Eventually, she says she reached a breaking point, and that's when she decided to leave. Toward the end of her videos, Sabina delivered a message that resonated with many followers. Don't assume social media reflects reality. That statement immediately raised an even bigger question. If the relationship wasn't what viewers believed it was, then how much of the story they watched online was actually real? In a later update, Sabina shared what life looked like after the breakup, and it was a major contrast to the life followers had grown used to seeing online. She explained that she was moving and trying to get everything organized. She clarified that she wasn't homeless and that housing remained stable. She also discussed rebuilding her income. According to Sabina, she had started a bartending position through a working interview and hoped it would become a permanent opportunity. She admitted she could no longer rely on TikTok income the same way she once had, especially because much of her viral content was connected to the age gap relationship. She also revealed that she had transferred schools and would continue her education in a new city.
Relationship.
Okay, so this is kind of where I'm at in regards to where I'm living. Is I've had to move in with my parents. I'm a mess in this room because I'm currently moving everything and organizing everything. We're not homeless or anything, thankfully, but we're all okay, like housing wise. I'm actually starting a job, a bartending job, doing a working interview today. Really great if I can get that and start soon so that we have some more income. I can't count on TikTok as much as I used to for income. All my videos are going to do as well now that I don't have our age gap to promote. I've also had to transfer schools, so I will be going to school here starting next month with the summer semester. We're still figuring that out.
When discussing Ryan, she briefly described him as a high-conflict person and suggested that complications behind the scenes could continue. Sabina shared additional examples of conflict, including criticism she says she experienced during pregnancy and ongoing disagreements about expenses within the home. She further claimed that child support payments had stopped months earlier. Overall, she described the relationship as emotionally and financially draining.
Narcissists will always convince themselves that you were cheating on them and that's why you left them. They can take no accountability. My ex is 50 years old, trying to go 50-50 with me, trying not to pay for shit, treating me like shit, treating me like a dog that he wouldn't feed, that he didn't want to house. He used to joke that I could live in this busted-ass shed in his backyard. I am the mother of his child. He yelled at me for eating an avocado while I was pregnant because I didn't pay for it. Because he paid for it, I couldn't have it. He used to tell me I should make an OnlyFans so that I could buy him a house on the lake. I found out that the last time he paid child support was 10 months ago. You know what else was 10 months ago? The last month I paid him rent. So I was paying this 50-year-old man's child support. He has the audacity to think that I've been cheating on him, and that's the only reason why I could ever want to leave him. And he can never take any accountability that the reason I don't want to be with him is because who treats another human being like that, let alone someone that they supposedly love, and is the mother of their child? I know you're watching this, just like...
For a while, Sabina's version of events dominated the conversation. Many viewers believed they finally understood what happened. Then Ryan started responding, and suddenly the story became much less straightforward. Ryan responded in clips that began circulating online, and his version of events painted a very different picture. In one video, he pushed back against the idea that he was responsible for covering every expense. He stated that he wasn't going to pay for someone else's car payments, bills, or school expenses, and reminded viewers that they were not married. The reaction was mixed. Some viewers agreed with his perspective. Others strongly disliked his tone and wording.
Hey, sorry I don't like to get used by girls. There's a deer back there. I'm not gonna be paying some girl's car payment and her bills, her fucking school shit. We're not married. I've already paid enough.
And the debate quickly intensified. But then another piece of Ryan's past started attracting attention online. As people searched for more information, some viewers discovered that Ryan had appeared on an old Judge Judy episode years earlier. The case itself had nothing to do with Sabina. However, the clip resurfaced as people attempted to learn more about him. Many viewers pointed out that Judge Judy appeared visibly frustrated during the exchange. Others began discussing the clip across social media platforms, and of course, an old TV appearance doesn't prove anything about the current situation, but it added another layer to the conversation, and it fueled even more debate about Ryan's personality and how he handles conflict. People under that Reddit post are also hating on Ryan for being absolutely annoying in real life as well. At this point, this story had evolved far beyond a simple breakup. What began as a viral age gap success story had turned into a public battle over money, responsibility, accountability, and social media authenticity. Sabina's explanation paints a picture of financial pressure, emotional strain, and a relationship that didn't match what followers were seeing online. Ryan's response focuses on personal responsibility, financial boundaries, and frustration with how the story has been presented, and somewhere in the middle sits the truth. The biggest question isn't whether Sabina was completely right or whether Ryan was completely right. The bigger question is how a relationship that looked so perfect online ended up collapsing so publicly. For months, followers believed they were watching proof that age gap relationships could work. Today, many of those same followers aren't even sure which parts of the story were real. And that's probably the most fascinating part of this entire situation. Not the breakup itself, but the possibility that millions of people became invested in a version of reality that may have only existed on a screen. Because social media doesn't show the full story. It shows the version people choose to post. And sometimes, the biggest gap isn't the age difference. It's the gap between what's happening online and what's happening in real life.